Once upon a time. The website known as YouTube was a wonderful place, until a man named Plaidley arrived. Yes, Plaidley is his real name. Do not look it up. Plaidley wasn't like other guys. He didn't care for Zack Snyder films, but he absolutely adored B-movie. He enjoyed finding obscure PC games from the past and talking about them for roughly 10 to 20 minutes. He also played Fortnite a few times, and his opinions about Star Wars were wrong and bad. One day, Plaidley took a walk through the woods and stumbled upon an abandoned creepy Garfield doll sitting on a bench. This doll somehow spoke and told the man that it was cold. So cold. Feeling sorry for this strange creature, he brought it home and attempted to feed it Hot Pockets when it quickly began to make irrational demands. The burgeoning YouTuber needed to abandon his past and rebrand his obscure channel to exclusively post Garfield-related content from now on. Feeling threatened by this glassy-eyed plush, Plaidley complied, leading to a dark and disheartening era for the once beloved creator. Seemingly out of nowhere, our intrepid internet hero was forced to pretend to be obsessed with everyone's favorite lasagna-loving cat. However, Plaidley soon burned out. The repetitive jokes of the Garfield comic strip, the uninspired video game tie-ins, and the downright horrendous live-action movie quickly wore him down. And inevitably, the well ran dry when it came to things to say about the fat orange feline. And so, Plaidley and the doll quarreled over the future of the channel, leading to an abrupt end to the Garfield videos. Plaidley renounced the fuzzy abomination, taking it back to the woods where he left it, exactly where he'd once found it. And there the doll sat, and waited, and waited, and waited. Years after the trauma, Plaidley discovered a random blog spot on Google.com, which made the audacious claim that one day soon, all of the good video games in the world would be taken from us, leaving only the bad video games. Plaidley tried to play B-movie game, he really did, but he was unfortunately distracted for 20 minutes talking about bad Christian video game. Alas, this proved to be 20 minutes too many, as when Plaidley had finished talking about bad Christian video game, the blog's prophecy came to pass. All of the good video games, such as the widely popular B-movie game, were gone, disappeared forever, leaving only bad video games in their wake. And this is where the next chapter begins.
Just kidding, I still have B-Movie Game! B-Movie Game was developed by Beanox, Smart Bomb Interactive, and Vicarious Visions, and was released for Xbox 360, PS2, Windows, and Nintendo DS in North America on October. B-Movie Game.
B-Movie Game. B-Movie Game.
Ah, that was just a dream? I guess the part where me and B-Movie Game were flying through space should have been a dead giveaway. Life has been horrible since B-Movie Game disappeared from my shelf. You never know how good you have it until it's gone. Here I was, owning a copy of B-Movie Game on the PC, and maybe the Wii one, and maybe the DS one, and then boom, one day gone without a trace. Look at this! They left their clothes here and everything! Oh, I wish it didn't have to be this way. I wish I could just play a video game about bees. Instead, I'm stuck with all these stupid video games about some orange guy. Different orange guy. Garfield is a daily comic strip character created by Jim Davis. He's a fat orange lazy guy who loves lasagna and hates Mondays. I was referring to Garfield, not Jim Davis. Garfield is a worldwide sensation, a character who has spawned a near infinite amount of merchandise. From books to TV shows to movies to dolls to action figures to phones to stickers to clothes. Garfield's face has appeared on pretty much anything you can think of. There have been quite a few Garfield video games released over the years. There's console games, handheld games, and of course PC games.
games.
I've been avoiding the old Garfster for some time now. I had a bit of a traumatic experience with a doll that resembled Garfield. You see, he was kind of haunted by a vengeful spirit that wanted to make the world love and respect Garfield, and he wanted me to make a bunch of Garfield videos and just keep making Garfield videos and basically do nothing but make Garfield videos, and long story short, we kind of had a little fight about it. But that's all in the past now. That doll is out in the woods living his best life right now, and I'm stuck here with a bunch of Garfield games that someone's been randomly sending me for months on end. So, in light of all that, I'm going to be taking this opportunity to watch the best movie ever made. Look. Someone's knocking at my door. I better go answer that. What are you doing out here? You got a really slow elevator, pal. Might want to get that looked at. This is a balcony. I'm the delivery guy, and I'm here to deliver your crap. See that? This spells delivery. That does not spell delivery. I didn't ask for your sass. Now take your package and leave. Get out of here. This is my apartment. Do I look like I care? Goodbye. That's the second weirdest thing that's happened on this balcony. Let's see here. Huh. Another Garfield game. Dear Plaidley, I am your biggest fan ever, and I love your many great videos. Oh, that's nice. I miss your Garfield videos, and also I am dying in the hospital from unspecified sickness. I hear that's been going around. Can you please review this old Garfield PC game as well as any others you might have lying around that I've been sending you over the last unspecified amount of time? It is my dying wish. Yours truly, your old friend. And then there's a smiley at the end of it. Huh. I didn't know I had old dying friends who've been sending me Garfield games for the last unspecified amount of time. Well, I suppose, for the sake of charity, I could talk about Garfield one more time. It is for charity, after all.
Little did our hero know that he was about to embark on a new harrowing journey that would change his life forever.
Did you guys hear that? Garfield's Mad About Cats, or alternatively, Garfield is Mad About Cats,
He just hates cats.
was developed by Horizons Companies and was published by Brighter Minds Media, Inc. The game was released in the year 2000 and features what is, as far as I can tell, the final performance of Lorenzo Music as Garfield. Lorenzo voiced Garfield for nearly 2 decades. And I think it's crazy that his final go at the character before his passing was an obscure PC game. The game starts with a slick cutscene featuring Garfield sleeping while his owner John tries to catch a mouse. Failing to accomplish his goal, John collapses to the ground defeated and contemplates ending his own suffering.
I have to kill myself.
John says that Garfield has to start acting like a normal cat and kill mice. Instead of mending his lazy ways and helping John, Garfield's solution is to go to his lab. The lab that Garfield has is secret dungeon lab. Garfield has a secret dungeon lab and we're supposed to believe he's too lazy to kill a mouse. My disbelief has been desuspended. Garfield is playing Dr. Frankenstein and Odie is Igor, and the goal of the game is to select the best features from cats around the world and combine them into the world's most perfect cat. We start with selecting a feature. I started with eyes and picked the palace cat. Garfield sends Odie to retrieve the cat's feature.
Oh, and while you're at it, bring me back some good grub. The cat's gotta eat.
Oh, and Garfield wants num-nums. Odie returns with a bag that seemingly contains cat eyes and some food from Iran. Wait, Odie ran all the way to Iran and came back in a couple seconds? My disbelief has been desuspended. The computer, that has lips by the way, scans the bag and returns the animal feature to the wild. She then lists off facts about the palace cat.
The palace cat lives in areas where it can get very cold. Its long, thick fur and stocky body help this small cat keep warm.
Wait, This is gonna be educational, isn't it?
So we sent our dog through the Speed Force to Iran to steal a cat's eyes. The computer scanned the eyes, sent the eyeballs back into the wild, and then listed off some random facts about the most likely dead cat. Yeah, this all seems a tad unethical.
Up for a game of foul shot?
And now we're playing a random minigame where we launch chickens from a recliner, our goal being to either hit a moving target or launch the chicken out the window. We're informed that no cartoon chickens were actually harmed in the making of this game, which I find very hard to believe considering that we're, launching chickens at 200 miles per hour at a wall. I would say that these morally dubious actions of slamming chickens into walls and gouging out cat's eyes are not really in line with Garfield's prior characterization. But to be fair, this is the same cat that frequently kicks a dog off a table and mails a kitten to Abu Dhabi. So yeah, par for the course for Lasagna Cat. In total, there are 12 features we have to select to build our perfect cat, as well as 12 minigames we get to play after selecting each feature. The minigames range from kind of fun to genuinely terrible, and thankfully you're not required to beat any of the minigames to continue. In fact, you don't have to play them at all. If you just want to learn some random facts about cats and not have any fun, that is absolutely an option here. However, I'm a gamer, and I'm only here for the gameplay. So let's rank all the minigames. Foul Shot is D tier. Dunk Tank, hard to say. Dunk Tank is pretty self-explanatory. Gotta throw a baseball at targets and try to drown that clown. I didn't hit either target at all and gave up. D tier. Disco John is pretty funny, but it also almost gave me a seizure with some flashing lights at the beginning. You've gotta repeat the buttons in the correct order so John can shake his booty. These creepy women stare at him, and with each mistake, you make one disappear, and the game ends when all three leave. B tier because John has an afro and that's funny. Hack Attack features Garfield shooting hairballs out of his mouth at a bunch of normals that slowly fall from the sky toward him. It's Space Invaders but with hairballs, which is gross, but it's a fun time. A tier. Squash a spider's annoying. Stop the spiders from getting Garfield's lunch, but the hitbox of the spiders makes no sense. I played this one multiple times and barely got a high score of 3, not very fun. D tier. Burp game is Breakout, but disgusting. It's only fun because Breakout is fun. C tier. Dress a Nerd is simple but goofy. Dress John up for his date. You can put John in a dress. S tier. Odie Maze is a slide puzzle, but you've got to slide pieces into place to build a path for Odie to get to the fire hydrant so he can, admire its beauty and pee on it. I like these kinds of puzzles, and it definitely put my brain to work. S tier. Whack-A-Rat is whack-a-mole, but with rats. It fixes 2 of my complaints with whack-a-mole. Too many moles, not enough rats. I like hitting rats. S tier. Soda Shaker is Russian roulette meets soda pop. There's 4 cans and 3 of them get shaken, and you've got to pick the one that's not shaken. I'm really good at Russian roulette, so I'm good at this game. B tier. Create a character is stupid. You just mix up pictures of Garfield characters. It's dumb and I hate it. F tier. Matching Madness is a card matching game. You gotta match the cards. It's kind of dull. C tier. Once we finish putting together the pieces, we get to see what the world's most perfect cat looks like, and there are 5 possible endings, seemingly based on random chance. Arlene, John, Nermal, Pookie, and Garfield.
Garfield's Mad About Cats was not a very fun experience. The game tried really hard to be educational with the random cat facts, but then you had the mini games, and those were kind of, not very fun. Although I did like the short animated clips, but emphasis on short, they were very short. Garfield may be mad about cats, but I'm not mad about this game. Who is it?
Hey man, how's it going?
Could be worse.
Isn't it crazy how all the good video games just randomly disappeared all at the same time all at once? How is that even possible, man?
I'm not really sure. Hopefully I'll see B-Movie game again someday, but for now I'm just stuck with all these stupid Garfield games.
Yeah, that's too bad, man. Sorry, I wish I could stay and help, but I gotta get going. I'm super busy. Margarine stocks totally tanked over the weekend, so I gotta go diversify my portfolio.
Sounds good. I should also get back to what I was doing that you interrupted.
Alright, man, I'll see you around. Hey, if McJorgensen stops by, can you let him know that I said I wasn't here?
Will do. Get out of my house.
Cool, thanks, man.
Oh well. Next Next game.
The Bill Murray Garfield movies are and will always be the definitive Garfield theatrical experiences. While it's unfortunate we never got a tie-in game for the first movie, there was one for the sequel. Garfield: A Tale of Two Kitties was developed by Asobo Studio and published by the Game Factory. Released on October 17, 2006 in North America, this game promises not only one Garfield, but also another one as well, like in the movie, how it was that there was the British Garfield and the real one, and then it was like that old book. I booted up the game and, oh, it's Garfield 2. Even though the cover art is titled Garfield: A Tale of Two Kitties, this all adds up. Starting up a new game, we're treated with one of the cutscenes of all time. The dialogue is very stilted, with awkward spaces between everyone's lines.
This cat doesn't look like Prince to me.
Actually, this isn't really Prince.
I knew it would have been too good to be true. Dodges is going to lock us out like Christoph and Claudius, and we shall all die.
Now, there is still hope left. No matter who that cat is, if he looks like Prince, he can save us from Dodges.
They're talking about the Dargis guy from the movie and how the Garfield cat isn't actually the Prince cat, but Garfield decides to play along anyway once he finds out that the Prince cat owns the castle. And with that, the intro cutscene ends and we're launched into the game. This castle area works as a hub world, similar to a game like Super Mario 64, where you have to complete objectives in one level to unlock the next area. Unlike Super Mario 64, this castle hub world is pretty boring and lifeless, with nothing interesting to find. We're given a tutorial on how to spin around, which functions as the main attack in this game. We're told to
Press the spin around key to spin around,
which is very specific and helpful. It didn't take long for me to figure out which key is the spin around key, but I find it odd that they didn't say which key the spin around key was. This seems to be because this version of the game was also released on PlayStation 2, and on PS2 the game does say exactly which button to push.
press circle to spin around.
I ran into this problem with the Spider-Man movie tie-in game a while ago, and it just seems like an issue that exists between some cross-platform licensed games. Most likely because keys can be remapped on the PC version of the game, so they decided to be generic when describing which key to press. However, I still think this is lame and dumb, and I don't like having to spam every key on my keyboard to figure out which button does what. We're also taught the charge move, which launches Garfield forward. Then we're taught how to double jump, which unlocks the garden level. By the way, just so you know, I'm playing this game on the hardest difficulty to prove my elite gaming skills. This game follows a mission format. Each level contains a certain amount of missions, with more unlocking as you complete missions and learn more moves. I'm not going to waste your time going into detail on every specific mission in every level, but let's at least cover each type of mission. There's a rather simple stopwatch collecting mission where you follow and collect a line of stopwatches. You have a set amount of time to collect a set number of watches, and every time you grab one watch, the time extends slightly. You pretty much just follow a line, it's not that hard. Here's another one. It's basically just a rhythm game with a twist. It's really bad. You have to push specific key directions as they line up with these circles, and if you're off by even the tiniest bit, it's counted as a miss, and your line here goes toward the red bad side. Your goal is to keep the line toward the green good side, but again, if your timing isn't absolutely perfect, it's counted as a miss. The absolute worst part about this mission is the fact that the music doesn't even line up with the arrows at all. It's a rhythm game with no rhythm. How did they mess that up? A few of the levels contain a mission where your goal is to free a captured animal from a caged area. In the garden, you gotta let this goose out, and in the castle level, there's a rat stuck in this cage, even though the rat could probably just fit through the bars. Beating these missions also unlocks new mission types in other levels, which is a neat little mechanic and makes this world all feel connected in some way. The goose missions involve pulling a Superman 64 where you have to fly through rings with a time limit. And let me tell you, as the world's #1 fan of Superman 64. We got one. Yeah, here we go. Oh, we're flying through the rings. I love this game. This mission made me cry tears of joy. Worth playing Garfield 2 just for the Superman 64 goose level. The rat missions are some of my favorite in the entire game. You've got to roll a ball from one place to another, which involves moving boxes around to build a path for the ball to go through. I haven't really touched on how it feels to control Garfield yet, and trust me, we will get to that. I have some very strong opinions. But in a game with mediocre controls, it's nice to have these fun little puzzles in here to keep my brain stimulated. It's basically Portal without the evil robots and the cubes, and you're a rat instead of an orphan. The final puzzle mission was actually pretty challenging and took me a good bit of time to figure out. Another mission involves racing a parrot through a set path. And by racing, I mean following close behind him, but no matter how fast you go, he's always ahead of you, and in the end, all you have to do is stay within close distance to him until the finish line to win the mission. It's just like racing the Deku Butler in Majora's Mask, but just not as fun. There's a vase destroying mission where Garfield has to destroy a bunch of vases within a time limit. The one in the garden was fun and had some good platforming challenges, but the one in the sewers was terrible. It's a confusing layout and took me 40 minutes to beat this one because I couldn't find over half of the vases. Maybe I was just being dumb, but I don't think the specific mission was designed very well. There's also a side objective in every level to collect a certain amount of lasagnas. When I started playing this game, I played it on the hardest difficulty and had to collect 100 lasagnas per course. But then I reached a point in my 4-hour session playing this game where I lowered the difficulty to easy for my own sanity when I was having a hard time with the parrot mission in the sewer. And from then on, I only had to collect 60 lasagnas per course.
I have made a continuous and intensive lapse in my judgment, and I'm not expecting to be forgiven here. I'm just here to apologize. I had to lower the difficulty on Garfield 2, aka Garfield The Tale of Two Kitties for the PC. I had to lower the difficulty because I am not an elite pro gamer. I'm so sorry, guys.
Oh yeah, now's the part where I complain about the controls. Your basic moveset begins with jumping, a spin attack like Crash Bandicoot Eminem's Lost Formulas, and a move where Garfield charges forward. As you play the game, you unlock new moves to reach new areas and make general movement easier. The super jump is one of the most fun moves by far. You push the jump key when landing after a jump to do a huge jump to make reaching higher platforms easier. I had fun with this move in particular during some of the platforming segments. Another move to unlock is the ground pound from Mario 64. It's exactly what it sounds like. Oh, and the final move is to unlock the wall jump from Mario 64. The controls are fine, don't get me wrong, but the moveset feels extremely derivative of other 3D platformers. The moves don't feel like what Garfield would do, they feel like something a generic platforming game character would do. The Garfield I know doesn't ground pound, he doesn't super jump, and he definitely does not charge. He eats lasagna and sleeps and kicks a dog off a table and hates Mondays. This game doesn't make you feel like you're playing as Garfield, and that's a big problem.
If I don't feel like Garfield, what's the point of living?
So the main gist of the gameplay is running around each level, completing missions to unlock new missions, and new moves to unlock different new missions, and unlock new levels. In order to unlock the final level in the game, the big boss fight with the evil Dargis that everyone keeps talking about, you have to 100% every mission in the game, including finding every lasagna in each level. None of the objectives in this game are optional to complete, and it really makes the final few missions of the game feel like a chore to play through.
We've been talking a lot about missions in this game, so you may be wondering, besides of course completing these missions to progress further into the game, what is the in-universe reason given to be completing these missions?
If our goal is to defeat the evil Dargis and stop him from taking over the kingdom or whatever, why are we collecting lasagnas and flying through rings and doing sick dance moves?
Well, the reason is, there's no reason. There's no in-universe explanation why Garfield's doing all this. Why is he on the roofs? Why is he everywhere? Why is he doing this? I don't know. The game doesn't tell us. Doesn't matter. Do the missions. Unlock all the missions. Do the missions. Get out there. Get out there and do the missions right now.
Once we've 100% completed the game, Bulldog tells us that he saw the evil British guy go through a secret passage, so we have to follow him to confront him and stop his evil plan, whatever that plan is. Garfield finds a secret room with a model of a city along with 5 buttons. Evil British man was hiding behind some barrels and he talks about some lawyers and his profitability plan. And Garfield doesn't like the sound of all that capitalism, so he's here to put a stop to it. Our entire goal here is to get Dargis to throw wine bottles to break these glass coverings so we can push buttons to raise different sections of this model of a city.
ESRB rating didn't mention that there was alcohol in this game. Why did ESRB not tell me there was alcoholic references in this game? ESRB, that was bad of you. You should have warned me. I wouldn't have played this if I knew there was alcohol in it.
We then have to destroy each building in the model. And that's it. That's what the entire game led up to. Garfield does some property damage. The end. I can't say I was disappointed in this ending, since that would imply I actually thought this was a good game in the first place, but it feels strange that after all those platforming challenges and various mission types, the final boss battle is just ground pound a bunch of stuff and you win. Seems odd. Now that we've reached the end, Prince actually bothers showing up, leading to the title of the game actually making sense. That's why it's called Garfield 2, because there's 2 of them. Do you get it? Do Do you see that there's 2 of them now?
Overall, this game definitely falls into the category of bad movie tie-in game. The controls were serviceable and the moveset was pretty generic. The mission format was super repetitious. Besides the goose and rat mini games, there wasn't really a lot fun about this game. Steer clear of this game, folks. It's pretty bad. Just making sure it didn't break. Having said all that, I have to confess something. I've never actually seen the movie that this game is based on. I know, I'm so sorry. I don't expect to be forgiven for this, but I played a movie tie-in game. I didn't even watch the movie. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me, everybody. You know, I watched the first movie, but I just never got around to seeing the sequel. So, I guess in honor of playing that game, it was pretty terrible. Let's see if the movie's also bad. Oh, look at that. It's right here. I got Garfield, The Tale of Two Kitties on the CD. I'm going to put it in my CD player. I'm going to watch the CD on the DVD Google. That was beautiful. I just can't remember another movie that made me feel so many emotions like that. I have so many feelings and emotions about this movie that I can't really put it into words. But I can try.
What is emotion? Merriam-Webster's dictionary defines emotion as a conscious mental reaction, such as anger or fear, subjectively experienced as strong feeling usually directed toward a specific object and typically accompanied by physiological and behavioral changes in the body. When I think about Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties, I feel a conscious mental reaction, such as anger or fear, subjectively experienced as strong feeling, usually directed toward a specific object and typically accompanied by physiological and behavioral changes in the body. However, unlike the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of emotion, I do not feel anger or fear when it comes to Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties. But what emotions would I say that I feel toward this film? Well, for one, love. I love this movie. Another feeling is happiness. This movie makes me happy. One more emotion, constipation. I feel constipated about this film. Constipated with many more happy feelings toward this film, such as glee, exhilaration, jovialness, jubilant, contentment, and of course, enjoyment. However, according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, there is another definition of emotion, a state of feeling. This is the definition of emotion that I most commonly associate with Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties. This whole film is a state of feeling, with many characters that feel many complex emotions. This is truly one of the most emotion-filled films of all time. And I'd like to share some of my emotions with you regarding this film. So join me as we examine the emotions of Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties.
I hate Mondays.
Wow, happy!
He's grumpy and sarcastic.
The first film in the Bill Murray Garfield canon was simply entitled Garfield, the Movie. While many people would say that that was a fitting title for that film, I would have to disagree. Certain elements of Garfield, the Movie were fine, but unfortunately, in the emotional department, this film just falls completely flat. We don't understand why any of the characters in this film feel any of the feelings that they feel. We have no idea why John feels so overcome with emotion about Liz. We don't know why Happy Chapman feels such angry emotions about his brother, Walter J. Chapman. The film doesn't tell or show us why Garfield has such strong and mean-spirited emotions toward his adopted dog brother Odie. This movie has very little emotion. But now let's examine the follow-up feature film and discuss some of the deeper themes therein. To start, the opening credits of this film are sublime. We see storybook images of the silly orange cat inserted into various fairy tales, such as Humpty Dumpty, Little Girl with Basket, The Sunglasses Mice, and The Tale of the Goose and the Foot, all classic American or British literature. This shows us immediately that we will be seeing a story that is based on a classic American or British story, which invokes feelings of nostalgia. But what is nostalgia? Well, we don't have too much time to discuss what nostalgia is, but let us briefly discuss this topic by taking a quick journey back in time. The 1980s. Pop culture was different then.
I need you to change the ending of the Chris Pratt video. I brought the doll back to the woods and left it there.
Once our tale begins, we see a beautiful British castle and a prince that looks a lot like Garfield. However, this cat is not Garfield. He is actually named Prince, and he has a British accent. Just in case there was any confusion about the identity of this other cat, we see the original American Garfield back in the United States of America. We see John planning something very romantic, and we can tell he is madly in love with someone. Out of nowhere, John proposes to his cat, which is very out of line with his characterization, which we recall from the first movie. You see, John was in love with Liz, not Garfield, because Liz is a woman and Garfield is a cat. We see that we as the audience were deceived, as John was only practicing his proposal on a picture of Liz, which sat on an end table next to Garfield. Garfield is overcome with anger, which is a very intense emotion. So far, what have we established about these characters and their new character, Prince, seems to personify the emotion of happiness. John is clearly displaying the emotion of being in love with a woman, and Garfield is showing the emotion of being angry that his owner is in love with a woman. So many emotions are at play throughout the opening of this film, and we're only 5 minutes into the runtime. Liz shows up to John's house for their romantic dinner, and she is displaying the emotion of strong excitement. She has been chosen to give a speech at the big fundraiser for the Royal Animal Conservancy. As she is so overcome with exciting emotions of excitement, she doesn't immediately notice the romantic setting that John has set up until she reveals the devastating news that she is going to fly to London the following day. John reaches into his pocket, only to be overcome with the emotion of confusion as he can't find the ring he was about to use to propose to his girlfriend. It turns out that Garfield took the ring and hid it from John, choosing to dance with a fully cooked turkey on the dining room table as John frantically searches for the ring. Liz then reveals the devastating news that despite John setting up this romantic dinner and despite her already being dressed up in nice clothes and makeup, she's going to return home to go pack for London. Wait. Okay, Liz, hear me out here. Maybe instead of showing up at John's house and telling him all this, you could have called him. Like, if you were planning on telling him the news that you wouldn't be able to have dinner with him, maybe you should have, like, not showed up at his house where you were going to have dinner with him. I'm just saying. Seems like a massive waste of time for you to show up, dress like you're ready for your date, only to leave John with the emotion of disappointment as you leave not even 2 minutes after showing up. I'm just saying, that's pretty rude. Garfield ate the whole turkey.
Garfield, you ate the whole turkey?
This shows very subtly that Garfield had the emotion of hunger. Wow, this movie is just so full of emotions so far. I can't wait to see what other emotions will come into play here. After doing some thinking, John decides he's going to follow Liz to London and propose to her there. At first, Garfield thinks he's coming along, but John is dropping his 2 animals off at the kennel. This gives Garfield the emotion of frustration at being held against his will in the kennel. Of course, Garfield is able to break out with Odie, and the two end up following John. Royal cat Prince's owner passed away, and her nephew, Lord Dargis, believes that he will inherit the fortune from her. Unfortunately for him, Lady Eleanor left the entire castle and her fortune to Prince. Lord Dargis gains the emotion of super duper angry before he realizes that all he has to do to inherit the fortune for himself is to get rid of Prince. There are also all of these other animals who display the emotion of respect toward their leader, Prince. So much emotion, so little time. Dargis puts Prince in a basket and throws him in the river, which shows that Dargis contains the emotion of very rude. This is when we return to the John storyline, where he has followed Liz to London and gotten a room in the same hotel she's staying at. When Liz realizes he's there, she displays the emotion of shock. Garfield and Odie reveal themselves to have stowed away in John's bag, meaning that John has no clothes. Uh-oh, how will John get out of this wacky predicament? Wow, that 3 hours sure flew by, but there you have it. That is why Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties, is an emotional masterpiece, which displays well over 203 emotions. Thanks for watching.
You're welcome!
How long have you been standing there?
I walked in while you were recapping that scene where Garfield was feeling the emotion of sadness because the parrot and the bulldog were talking about him behind his back. Truly an emotional scene.
Yeah, it's a real tearjerker. I didn't even see you come in. Why are you here?
I came here to check out your new elevator. Everyone's been raving about it.
I don't have a... Hey, how's your store doing?
Pretty great ever since the competition down the street closed down. People come in and they buy products from me and I make money. Who knew that my biggest competition closing down would be good for business?
That's great, man. Oh, by the way, earlier Afro Jim stopped by and he wanted me to let you know that he was not here.
Oh, good. Tell him I'm glad he wasn't here.
I thought you two were friends.
We had a falling out recently and we're mad at each other.
You really gotta get that laugh looked at, man. It's really off-putting.
Well, I should be getting back to my store now. Plenty of products to sell. See you later, Plaidley.
Kind of reminds me of someone. Have you ever wondered what would happen if there was a big treasure hunt and you had to follow clues all around the world and there was some evil doppelganger eye patch guy of you and he was following you around and trying to stop you from getting all the clues so that you could win the lasagna factory? No? Well, you're in luck. They made a game about it.
Garfield Lasagna World Tour was developed by EKO Software and published by Blast Entertainment Ltd. And Conspiracy Games, and was released on November 30th, 2007. This game is a follow-up to Garfield Saving Arlene, which is a game that I don't have a copy of. I guess whoever sent me all these games didn't think Garfield Saving Arlene was important enough for me to play. In Lasagna World Tour, there's this big scavenger hunt contest, and the grand prize is lasagna for some reason. Unfortunately, there's an evil gray cat that also wants the lasagna, so we gotta kill him or something. Our first goal is to get to the treasure hunt store, which is a place that definitely exists. We gotta get a radar that will help us find clues to the scavenger hunt. This game's tutorial is super helpful. We're told to push the jump button to jump. I was planning on pushing the not jump button to jump, but I'll push the jump button instead. Thanks, game. Lasagna World Tour includes the ability to do animal abuse via kicking the funny dog. There's flat PNGs of Garfield's favorite teddy bear Pookie scattered around each level, and once you collect 10, Garfield gains a life. The main gimmick in this game is the outfit system. There are several outfits Garfield can wear, each with a unique ability. The first one we're introduced to is the cowboy outfit, which gives Garfield the ability to commit a hate crime. Forgive me, Odie. In all seriousness, the mechanic of this outfit is to shoot down items or hit switches to progress to new areas. The next outfit we find is the soccer outfit, so we can kick Odie to a farther distance. Another outfit is a turban that makes Garfield super magical and floaty. You can use an outfit's ability indefinitely until you switch to another outfit or you take damage. In the first level, we've got to make our way through the neighborhood, encountering mean dogs that are just reskins of Odie, as well as weird gaps in the road. There's some very basic puzzles to get through, but overall it's a very straightforward level. We break into the treasure hunt store and blatantly steal the radar, which will show when Garfield and Odie are right next to a buried item that will help them progress through an area. Suddenly, a ninja dog appears who basically just looks like the other dog enemies, but he's got ninja clothes on, so he's a ninja dog. This is also when Garfield and Odie are officially introduced to the central antagonist, Evil Gray Eye Patch Garfield. He doesn't have a name. The Garfield fan wiki doesn't even have a name listed. So let's call him Carl. Carl is his official canon name. I decided it. Apparently, Evil Ninja Dog works for Carl because he attacks Garfield and we're launched into a... I guess you could call this a minigame? It's basically just a quick time event where you have to push the correct buttons in order to defeat Evil Ninja Dog. It's very dumb and doesn't belong in this game and doesn't contribute anything to the experience besides a very brief distraction from the main gameplay. The next level is like that part in Sonic Adventure 2 when Sonic is running away from the big truck, except instead of a big truck, it's Carl riding a big dog and we have to avoid obstacles that we only have a split second to see in front of us.
So overall, this game makes Sonic Adventure 2 look like garbage.
Garfield and Odie escape and find a clue that leads them directly to Egypt. That's not random at all. So they go to Egypt. The Egypt level features some very basic level design. You travel in a straight line and solve basic puzzles that don't take a lot of brain power to figure out. Most of the time, the costume you need to get through an area is right where you need it to be, which takes a lot of the guesswork out of the experience. There's also a few unique segments where we have to trick Odie into swimming across gaps in the water. You see, Garfield can't swim because cat, so he has to jump on Odie's head to traverse the water areas. On a completely different note, I haven't talked about the voice acting yet. Garfield is the only character in this game that speaks.
Odie, my cake! Treachery. This crime deserves the most severe punishment.
And John Barnard did a solid job here in emulating Garfield's voice and mannerisms.
And they say nobody ever died of ridicule.
Once we found the next clue, we get Raiders of the Lost Ark and run from Big Boulder. The next stop on our Lasagna World Tour...
Hey, wait a minute. That's the title of this video gaming experience.
Is the famous Mexican city... Mexican City, not Mexico City. Mexican City, the famous, you know, it's called Mexican City. That's the name of it. In Mexican City, we solve more puzzles and gain a new outfit, the chef outfit, with a fire-breathing ability where Garfield breathes fire. Wow! I don't like that Garfield's eyes disappear while he's breathing fire. That makes me uncomfortable. After exploring Mexican City for a bit and stumbling across the next clue, Carl shows up and sends Garfield and Odie falling down a big pipe. After falling in this magic water stuff, Garfield and Odie did a Freaky Friday and swap bodies. And now we get to play as Odie. This severely limits the player's options for traversing the environment. We can't use any of Garfield's outfits or abilities. In fact, all we can do is pick up keys and run and jump. And since we're playing as Odie now, we can actually swim in the water ourselves. What a fun thing to do. Okay, in all seriousness, this segment where Garfield is trapped in Odie's body is one of the most memorable segments in the entire game. The limited moveset made traversing the environment a unique challenge, and I had fun figuring out how to get around as Odie. I wish there were some more opportunities throughout the game to play as Odie, but overall, this is a great section that switches things up in a refreshing way. Well done, Lasagna World Tour. You did a good here. After we found the clue in Mexican City, we're off to Italy, which is the final main stop in our quest to get the lasagna. It makes perfect sense that a lifetime supply of lasagna would be in Italy. There's some waterways and therefore more opportunities to use Odie to get across, but other than that, it's a pretty straightforward level. It didn't take me long to get to the end where, plot twist, Garfield and Odie get launched from a cannon all the way back to their neighborhood for some reason.
I mean, I thought it would make sense for the lasagna to be in Italy, the place known for Italian food, but what do I know? I've never been on a Lasagna World Tour. But I want to be.
Garfield and Odie finally find the key to the lasagna factory in the town. And it's buried in their front yard for some reason. But just as Garfield celebrates his legal ownership of the lasagna factory, Carl runs over and steals it, and we're faced with one final challenge. An actual boss fight. That's right, no more breaking a model city while a British guy throws alcohol at you. This is an actual boss fight where we have to defeat Carl once and for all. This boss fight is split into 2 segments. One where Garfield rides Odie around to trick Carl into running into exploding barrels, and the next where Carl shows up in a giant mech robot and we have to kick Odie at him when he's stunned. Wait, how did Carl get a giant mech robot? I can excuse the fact that throughout the game, Carl was able to track Garfield and Odie's exact location in different countries around the globe, but I draw the line at giant mech robot. This game gets a 0 out of 10. It's actually a pretty solid boss fight that I genuinely enjoyed playing. My only complaint is that it's a fairly short battle, but it's a solid conclusion to a solid game. In the final cutscene, Garfield is chasing Odie around threatening violence because Odie hid the key to the lasagna factory somewhere and Garfield can't find it. Garfield, are you serious? It's literally right there in Odie's doghouse, and it's very visible. I think Garfield should schedule an eye exam. His eyesight is clearly going downhill. The credits have some very generic looking pictures of Garfield and Odie. Just thought I'd mention that.
I've got to be real with you guys. Lasagna World Tour is one of the best platforming video games I've ever played. I can't think of the last time I played a platformer and had this much fun. And I haven't even talked about the multiplayer yet.
There's a multiplayer mode. You can pick different costumes like normal Garfield, Sheriff Garfield, Firefighter Garfield, Pirate Garfield, Bunny Garfield, and Carl. There are several mini games to choose from, such as Here Brutus, $1 Million Odie, Attack of the Myopic Moles, etc. These minigames are very fun, and next time I throw one of my famous Plaidley parties, I'll be sure to pull this game out to impress all my many friends and wow them with my epic Garfield Lasagna World Tour gaming skills.
Overall, I would highly recommend playing this game for anyone who's looking for a good 3D platformer. And like I said earlier, this game is actually a sequel to a different game. So if this game was great, surely the first game was just as good. Unfortunately, my old dying friend didn't send me that first game, so I guess I'll just have to check eBay for it real quick. Finding it. Oh, there it is. Found it. All right. Just ordered a legit copy of Garfield Saving Arlene, so we're just gonna have to wait till that shows up. That was fast. Come in. Hey, it's me, Awesome Random Gamer, and I heard you ordered a legit copy of Garfield Saving Arlene on eBay, and I just wanted to know, is it as good as Angry Birds? How do you keep getting in here? I just changed the locks. I took the elevator. I don't have an elevator! Did you know that Garfield and Friends is a much better show than Breaking Bad? Dude, get out of my apartment. Breaking Bad just has too much violence. And Garfield and Friends is just good, clean, wholesome family fun. Get out! Did you know that Deer Hunter 4 was one of the first hunting video games ever made? Get out! Whoa, man, you gotta chill out. You're acting like I'm just some random guy that broke into your house for the second time. If you don't leave, I'm gonna talk about Minecraft. Ugh! I hate Minecraft. It made people hate Angry Birds. That guy's a weirdo. You know, this is kind of random, but I just realized something. I don't know how to type. I really wish there was a piece of Garfield-related software that would help me learn how to type, since I don't know how.
Do you want to learn how to type?
I don't know if I have time. Let me check my calendar.
Do you have fingers?
I think so.
Then you need Garfield's Typing Pal, the best way to learn how to type.
Wow!
Garfield's Typing Pal was developed and published by Demark. Released in 2003. I tried installing it, but during installation it asked me to enter the serial number written on the game's cover. I found the serial number, but I can't enter it into my computer due to a big problem.
I don't know how to use this thing!
The whole point of this game is to teach me to type, so why would they make you type before you even learn how to type? You know how if you put a monkey in front of a typewriter, the monkey will eventually write Shakespeare? Well, this was my monkey typewriter Shakespeare moment. After only 10 minutes of randomly spamming my keyboard until I got the right number, I can now finish installing the game and finally learn how to type. We're given the choice between Arlene, Garfield, and Odie to function as our assistant on our typing journey. Gotta go with my guy the Odester on this one. There's a few different course options to choose from. Beginner, Intermediate, Performance, Numeric Keypad, or Independent Student. We could also customize our own, but where's the fun in that? I'm here to type, not customize. Just to be safe, we're going to start at the beginner's level and go from there. Definitely going for completionist status on this game. Our first lesson is JF. Or is it pronounced GF? Starting off, we get some cool typing tips to help us on our journey.
Don't look at the keyboard, ever.
I did it again.
Keep your back straight
and forearms slightly above the keyboard.
Like this?
Press lightly on the keys. Too much pressure may repeat the character.
Oh no. I broke it.
When typing, don't let mistakes disturb you. Continue typing.
I'm not taking any chances.
In this first exercise, we type the characters F and J over and over. That's why it's called JF, because those are the letters we're typing. Do you get it? I had a little too much fun watching Garfield push the wrong button that I ended up with 346 errors and have to try again.
Alright. Looks like I got some training to do. 102, 103, 104, 105, 106. 3,000,006. 3,000,007. 3,000,008. This is the dumb. What am I doing?
On my second attempt, I only messed up 3 times. Call me the king of typing 2 specific letters on a keyboard because I just typed 2 specific letters on a keyboard. I'm tired of learning, so it's time to play some fun mini games. We've got Cookie Catch, where we have to type the exact letter of the cookie falling from heaven so Garfield can eat it. The game will also throw a twist in, where some of the letters are capitalized. You have to push the shift key and then the letter. Really deep stuff. There's also Cosmic Ball. Cosmic is misspelled for some reason, but this is Garfield's typing pal, not Garfield's spelling pal. So it's fine. There's a ball that heads toward a letter on one of the sides and you have to press the correct letter before the ball hits the square or else the ball will go out of bounds and you will lose. It's a very fun game. I'm not lying. In all seriousness, this is actually a well put together and fun tool to learn typing. If you've ever wanted to learn how to type and enjoy spending time with our favorite lasagna loving cat, this is the perfect software for you. But if you already know how to type, this thing is pretty much useless. Goodbye, Garfield's typing pal. Thank you for teaching me how to push J and F on my keyboard over and over.
I'll never forget you, Garfield's typing pal. Whatever you're selling, I already have it. Oh, hey, Yellow M&M man, long time no see. Yeah, I've been okay. Still kind of upset about the whole good video game rapture thing. Just trying to pass the time playing these stupid Garfield games. Well, they're not stupid. They're alright. A little bit better than I was expecting. Oh yeah, speaking of that, I bought you this can of beans 4 years ago and totally forgot to give them to you. Don't worry, they're still good. Beans can't expire. Here you go.
You saved me. The curse is broken.
Anytime, pal. Hey, you wanna play some Garfield games with me?
The one you should not have abandoned will return shortly.
I'm sorry, what? Huh. Well, that probably doesn't mean anything. Hey, I'm back. I got you a package from eBay, some Garfield game or something. I don't know, man. They pay me minimum wage. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it. Aren't you gonna leave me a tip? I didn't know you're supposed to tip mailmen. I'm not a mailman. I'm a delivery guy, and I demand that you tip me. Oh, well, I don't have any cash on me. Let's see, how about a Ray Skywalker Funko Pop? Perfect! Have you ever had your girlfriend be kidnapped and then you gotta go save her? Boom, Garfield saving Arlene. I ordered this on eBay, it's a legit copy. I legally own this game. This is a legal copy of the game that I own, and it's very legal.
Garfield Saving Arlene was developed by EKO Software and published by Hip Games in Europe for Windows and PlayStation 2 in October 2005. It seems to be an extremely rare game, at least as far as the PC release goes, since most of the listings on eBay were only for the PlayStation 2 edition.
Luckily, I was able to find this official copy of Garfield Saving Arlene on eBay.
The game begins with our lasagna-loving protagonist sleeping, as he's done oh so many times. Unfortunately, the stupid dog wakes him up, so Garfield punches him. Wow, animal abuse in the first 30 seconds. That's gotta be a world record. Garfield hears what he believes to be an ice cream truck. However, it turns out to be a truck from the Animal Annihilation Facility, which is a real place that exists. And it looks like a variant of Arlene from Paper Mario is trapped in the back. Looks like they didn't have the budget to make a 3D model of Arlene, so they just used a flat GIF of her instead. But I barely noticed. She looks so real you can't even tell. Now it's up to Garfield and Odie to catch up with the truck and save Arlene. Garfield's base moveset is pretty much the same as Lasagna World Tour. He can whistle to call for Odie, kick, and jump. There are Pookies scattered around, and collecting 10 gives Garfield a life. Most of the level layouts are pretty much just a straight path. The goal is to get from point A to point B with some light puzzle solving elements. And by that I mean most of the time the puzzle is find a key to unlock the gate. At first the keys are in obvious spots, like right next to the locked gate, but by the end of the game it takes quite a bit of brain power to find the keys. There are different pieces of food scattered around the levels which can be combined to grant new abilities to the fat orange guy. When tomato, cheese, and meat are combined into lasagna, Garfield recovers his health. Hamburger bun, cheese, and meat give Garfield the ability to kick Odie long distances, either to break something or reach a faraway switch. Sugar, cheese, and milk inflates Garfield like a balloon and lets him float. Ice cream, milk, and sugar makes Garfield run super duper fast like Sonic the Hedgehog.
That is the second Garfield and Sonic reference I've made today, and definitely the last.
Last but not least, canned beans.
Did you just say beans?
Meat and a pepper make Garfield burp fire and also make his eyes disappear. The only character with a voice in this game is Garfield. And just like Lasagna World Tour, he's played by John Barnard.
Sorry, what? I'll just take some more of that cheese. Odie doesn't respect anything. Not even my naps before meals. There's no chance we can catch up with him if we take the road. It would also make me tired.
He definitely isn't the worst Garfield voice actor of all time, since that honor goes to Chris Pratt, but he's no Lorenzo Music, that's for sure. He sounds a little more like someone doing a Garfield impression than someone voice acting as Garfield. Back to the gameplay. Garfield and Odie visit some exciting locations on their way to save Arlene. These exciting locations include a neighborhood in the daytime, a sewer system, a neighborhood at dusk, a factory, a different sewer system, a neighborhood at night, and the final level, a giant animal control prison. Despite the fact that most of the levels are in similar settings to each other, the neighborhood levels feel at least slightly distinct. I mean, at least there's different lighting in each level, which kinda keeps things fresh. The final level has this reddish glow that makes it feel ominous and distinct from the other levels. I felt like throughout the game, the item power-up system got a bit tedious. Having to grab 3 different items to use one ability felt like a chore, and it never really felt like a challenge to figure out when I needed to use different abilities. Oh look, there's ice cream, milk, and sugar all in the same place. Guess I've gotta use Sonic Speed to get through this part. Oh, look at all the ingredients for baked beans. I guess I gotta burn something down with Garfield's fire breath. The main challenge from this game should be problem solving by using abilities. But because of the way the ability system is set up, it feels like the game is giving you the answer immediately after asking you the question.
Hey, Mr. Jeptho, what's the best video game ever made?
Well, I would say it's probably...
It's B-movie game, right? You were gonna say B-movie game, right?
Oh yeah, you're right.
The game very naturally moves the player from location to location as we chase after Arlene. And once we finally arrive at the pound where Arlene is being held captive, it's time for all our knowledge of the game to be put to the test. This final level took me right around an hour to complete, and it's filled with plenty of areas that present genuine challenges as we try to save Arlene. One of my favorite sections of the game was this circular area that contains every item to every recipe. You have to figure out which ability to use to get through an area to hit a button to unlock another area where you have to use a different ability. It's one of the only points in the game that forces the player to think for themselves on which items to use to overcome a challenge. And I wish there were more moments like that throughout the game. I also really enjoyed this puzzle area where you have to push buttons to unlock different gates, the twist being that pushing a button opens one gate but closes another. It was a good challenge figuring out which buttons to push and when. And if there were more puzzles like this throughout the game, I think saving Arlene could have been something really special. Once we've traversed the animal annihilation facility, we find PNG Arlene trapped in a cage that we have to kick Odie at. But before we do that, we have to survive various traps for a set amount of time. It's a decent final challenge, but it falls a bit flat. Pun intended. All it really boils down to is jump over something that can hurt you for a few seconds until a gate thing opens, and then you can kick Odie at the cage, and then you go to a different room and do that again. We finally break the cage and save Arlene, and the biggest plot twist in video game history occurs. None of what we just played actually happened. It was all a dream. Dream theory is canon. In the end, Odie chases after a truck and gets picked up by the Pound himself. Instead of helping out his doggo friend, Garfield decides that watching his favorite TV show is way more important. And with that, everyone lives happily ever after. Except Odie, of course. He's gonna get euthanized.
Overall, this game that I definitely own a legal copy of is actually really fun. Not as good as the sequel, but definitely a good game. Okay. I'm gonna come clean. I'm sorry. This actually is not a legal copy of Garfield Saving Arlene. I'm very, very sorry I lied to you about that. It's actually just Barbie and the Diamond Castle. I'm sorry, guys. I lied about that.
Was this game better than Lasagna World Tour? No, not really. The costume system in World Tour is infinitely better than the item system in Saving Arlene. It was too complicated scrambling around to get 3 different items just to use one ability, and the items were also one-time uses. I really appreciate what World Tour did to fix this problem. The costume system is a great improvement. Another thing I prefer from World Tour is the level design and environments. Almost every level in Saving Arlene looks the same, and the art direction is pretty bland. But each stage in World Tour stands apart from each other. They all have a distinct appearance.
Overall, Saving Arlene was not as good as Lasagna World Tour, but it was still pretty fun in its own right. Sure, it's heavily flawed, but it still has that Garfield video game charm to it. And there's no way there was a good video game Rapture. All these games are actually pretty good, not terrible. I mean, they're not perfect, but I'm having a lot of fun right now. Oh hey, I haven't seen you since the Zoo Race game video on February 5th, 2021. Why the long face? Sorry you turned into a horse, man. That's a bummer. Hope it wears off soon. Hey, you wanna play some Garfield Lasagna World Tour with me? It's actually a really fun multiplayer mode if you're interested. What? Huh. You know, all this Garfield gaming action has just made me think about something. It's been a few years since I checked in on the Garfield comic strip series to see if they're any good or not. I'm gonna go read some Garfield comics.
Okay, let's see. Here's a recent one. Garfield whistles. And he says, I'm mentoring Odie today. And then Odie pushes a vase off the table. Garfield says, excellent. Let's move on to lamps, shall we? A little more to the left, pal. Gotta block the sports section. And then Garfield's getting a massage from Odie. And he says, need it, need it, need it, need it, need it. And then Odie burps. He goes, ugh. And then Garfield says, 27 decibels. Impressive. And then Odie is asleep. And Garfield says, my work here is done. Wait, that's actually really funny because it's like he's like training Odie on how to be like him. That's really cute. Actually, that's a good comic right there. All right, let's check out this one here. Garfield is laying on the floor. He says, when you're a cat, every day is a spa day. Because cats sleep. That one's fine. Not as funny. All right. John is reading a book to Garfield, and John says, and they all lived happily ever after, with an endless supply of onion rings and French fries. And then Garfield says, I love the story of the princess and the magic deep fryer. Yeah, I mean, that one's okay. That's fine. Not terrible. All right, this is the one with the big purple dog. He says, yip, yap, ack. Hang on, I can get this. Yerk? And then Garfield says, dude, it's just barking. Don't overthink it. That's funny. That's a funny one. I like that one. Okay, this one, Garfield's watching TV, and it says, stay tuned for an informative thought. Wait, he got a new TV. When did he get that new TV? He got like a flat screen. Oh, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool that you got an upgrade there. It's nice to see when the Garfield comics kind of try to stay up to date and stuff and try to update the format. That's pretty cool. I love that. Anyway, the TV says, stay tuned for an informative, thought-provoking program. Garfield quickly clicks off and then says, cartoons. That one's just true. Yeah, I hate informative, thought-provoking programs. Just like Garfield, and he just wants to watch cartoons, and like, same dude, totally. Arlene and Garfield are at the fence, and Arlene says, where did you get the ice cream? I didn't hear the ice cream truck. And then Garfield says, I have him on retainer. I mean, it doesn't really make sense how Garfield can pay the ice cream man, but that one's still pretty good. I like that one. Let's see, this one, Garfield is very hot, because we're in May right now, and it's pretty hot right now. He says, boy, it's hot. I wonder if I could fit a lawn chair in there. Oh, because refrigerators are cold. That's pretty good. I like that one. Here's one. Garfield says, I'm conserving my energy. Gotta rest up for the 3 a.m. zoomies. Yeah, cats do that a lot, actually. They run around in the middle of the night all the time. All right, one more. Let's look at one more. Garfield says, hack splat. Proof of delivery. And then I guess he sends a picture of his hairball to John. Oh, that one's pretty funny too. These are actually pretty good comics.
That was a good break. It's really nice to see that Jim Davis has gotten his groove back recently. Reading all those comics was fun and all, but I kind of wish I could make my own Garfield comics. Oh!
Developed by Scholastic and published by Lasagna Electronic Publishing in 1998, this game allows players to create their own hilarious Garfield comic strips. It truly is a dream come true for Garfield fans everywhere. Before we start creating some wacky Garfield comic strips, let's listen to a quick word from Jim Davis on how he gets his ideas for the comic series.
It's hard to be funny every day.
Not for me, it's not.
Gag writing is like a working meditation.
I've always had a feeling that Jim Davis emptied his head before writing Garfield comics.
I don't really write the material myself.
Aha, I knew it the whole time. Jim Davis is a hack and he hires ghostwriters.
Garfield literally writes the material.
I'm sorry, what?
I sit back in a very quiet place and I visualize Garfield until I can literally see him in my head.
Okay, this is getting weird. I don't like this.
Garfield is special because he's a human in a cat suit.
Garfield's a furry. I knew it the whole time.
Okay, enough of whatever that was. This software is a very simple comic strip maker. All you gotta do is drag objects onto frames to create some wacky and crazy situations for our favorite lasagna-loving cat. I spent several hours crafting some stories that I believe should be canonized into the official Garfield comic strip series, and I would like to share those with you right now. Enjoy!
Odie, I love you so much.
I beat you up for steal my girl, Odie. Garf, where dog? I eated him. Garf, no, don't do that. I did, he in mouth. My dog dead? In my tummy. Bruh, you are next. What for desert?
Garf, where is boyfriend?
Desert. Yo, what's up gamers? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna commit crimes and say it's a social experiment. Like the video. Odie, are you okay? I bet my stupid boyfriend did this. I should report this to the local authorities. Garfield, you can't just commit crimes and call it a social experiment. That's rude. I can do whatever I want. I'm Garfield the cat. Like and subscribe. We're breaking up. I'm reading this book about modern slang, Garfield. It's very cool. Have you ever heard of Skibbity Riz before? Yeet dab, epic style, hit the gritty, no capio. Super Mario in real life. Spaghetti. Man, that Mr. Beast fellow sure is based yeet. Oh no, I left Garfield in the oven! Why do they call it oven when you oven the cold food about hot eat the food?
I don't really have a lot to say about this one, but I had a pretty good time with it. It kind of reminded me of the online Garfield comic maker that used to exist on the website when the Garfield website was cool. In a lot of ways, the Garfield comic strips inspired my creativity when I was a kid. In fact, as a kid, I tried writing my own comics about a stickman named Stickman. He was a stickman that did stickman-like things. I was bad at drawing and this was the best I could do. So playing this game and creating Garfield comic strips was a good nostalgic time for me. And I had some fun with it. Man, I cannot believe how well this is going. I mean, sure, some of the games were a little weak, but overall I'm having a great time. Come in. Okay. Hello? Anyone around? Oh. That's just a funny little doll. Huh. Wonder who left him at my door.
Garfield in TV Land was developed by Point of View and published by Sega for PC in March 1996. The game is a port of Garfield Caught in the Act, which originally released for the Sega Genesis in 1995. This game was also featured in a combo pack released by Sega in 1999 for PC that featured this game, some obscure puzzle game called Baku Baku, and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles.
Wow, look at that! A third Sonic and Garfield reference. I bet you didn't see that coming.
Garfield in TV Land draws some inspiration from the 1984 anthology book Garfield His 9 Lives. This book was later adapted into a TV special in 1988. Garfield His 9 Lives is an anthology story taking place across different time periods and different art styles. The storylines range from silly and goofy to incredibly melancholy and depressing. It's probably one of the most artistic things to come from the Garfield franchise. The video game is only loosely connected though. A few of the in-game scenarios are very similar to what happens in the book and movie. The intro cutscene sets up the storyline. Garfield is watching some TV when Odie jumps in out of nowhere and barks, which makes Garfield jump high into the air and fall. He crashes down on the TV, breaking it into a big messy pile of parts. I noticed a weird error with the art here. Odie's ears are yellow, but they're supposed to be brown. Also, Garfield's nose is blue when it should be not blue.
This is the worst Garfield game ever, 0 out of 10.
Garfield and Odie attempt to fix the TV, which seems to work at first, but the extra parts come to life and zap him into the TV. Oh, that's why it's called Garfield in TV Land. He's in the TV. That's the name of it. Now we're in the hub world. To get to the first level, we've got to do a simple platforming thing, and boom, we're in the Flintstones now. There are some super helpful arrows telling me exactly where to go, which is a very cool thing. Thank you, game. Looks like there's this giant enemy crab that I quickly dispatched with a bone, followed by wrecking this enemy bird that drops rocks. I can't say I'm a huge fan of the sound design in this game. The music is pretty good. It fits the vibe of the level in a perfectly adequate way, but the sound effects are pretty annoying. Eventually, I found my way to this super intense boss battle against a big green Odie dinosaur guy, or as true fans of Garfield His 9 Lives know him as Big Bob. All you gotta do is launch some boulders at him and throw bones at him when he's at your level, and boom, we killed him. Woo! After that, we zoom to a commercial break where we have to collect 18 Pookies to get an extra life and 25 Pookies to get a continue. I got neither because I was terrible at this minigame. The next level is Egyptian themed. We've got to navigate our way through a labyrinth that genuinely confused me a few times. Specifically, this very simple swinging platform would not work right for me. You have to swing it all the way around so the door to the right opens, and I just could not get it to work. For a minute there, I thought I was doing something wrong or it was a glitch. But after the 100th attempt, it finally worked. After more exploring, I made it to the big boss fight, a battle against a giant magical sphinx that suspiciously looks very similar to John Arbuckle, but that's probably just a coincidence. There's also these little fly guys that constantly spawn while you're trying to break these dog statues on the sides. Other than that, this is a very simple and engaging boss fight that wasn't really that hard once I figured out the pattern. The next level is the mandatory spooky level. It takes place in a graveyard where we encounter ghouls, skeletons, and scariest of all, bats. The boss fight in this one is an evil vampire Odie that took me about 20 minutes to figure out how to defeat. I just kept hitting him over and over expecting that to do something, but it didn't. Eventually, I looked up a walkthrough, and it was actually very simple. When you hit Odie, he hides in a casket, and you have to quickly open one of these curtains above the casket he's in to burn him when he gets out. Again, very simple, and I should have figured it out sooner. I was just being dumb. Quick side note, I love the pixel art in this game. Everything here looks great, and the animation is so fluid and lively. The art direction for this game is fantastic, and it's definitely the best looking Garfield game I've played today. The next level is pirate themed. Just gotta throw bombs at these annoying bats and avoid these creepy weird hand things. The next segment is a jungle with a nice variety of enemies. We've got skeletons, big bird, and monkey, oh my. The big bird will constantly respawn and fly at Garfield, which is super fun and not annoying whatsoever. This segment took me a little too long because I'm big dumb and kept falling out of the trees. The boss fight in this level is a big pirate skeleton man. The challenge being that these platforms are constantly dipping into the water, and cats hate water, and Garfield is cat, so we don't want him in the water. But the fight is super easy and we got the treasure, woo! The next level is called Casablanca. It's a pun. Do you get it? Because he's a cat. The level has a black and white noir theme, which is really cool to see, and the boss is McGruff the crime dog for some reason.
I guess the lesson is do crime and kill anyone who says otherwise. Thank you, Garfield, very cool.
This level is loosely based on the short story from His 9 Lives called Babes and Bullets. Yes, that is a real name of a real Garfield story. Babes and Bullets originally appeared in His 9 Lives, but this particular story was not included for the TV special His 9 Lives. Apparently, the story in this book was just so good that they had to make a full 30-minute TV special for just this story that was released in 1989.
I like babes and bullets.
Are you Spade?
I never know how to answer that question.
The final level is alien themed, and it is by far my favorite level. The physics switch to this floaty low gravity space thing, and it gives this level a unique feel. The boss fight is one of those floaty guys from Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back on the snow planet. You know who I'm talking about. After that, we've reached the final boss, the weird amalgamation of spare TV parts that gain sentience. This final battle is simple. The creature will occasionally launch electricity stuff at Garfield, and we gotta push these plate things into place so the electricity stuff will bounce back at the boss, after which we have to follow the boss up this big platforming place. It's nothing too crazy, but it's a decent enough challenge to cap off this game. Once we defeat the evil creature, Garfield is zapped back into reality and the TV is completely fixed now for some reason. And despite the fact that he died over and over and over inside the TV, Garfield says he had fun and wants to do it again. Garfield is a masochist confirmed.
I had a lot of fun with Garfield Caught in the Act, or Garfield in TV Land, or whatever you want to call it. Sure, I was pretty terrible at the game, but it was definitely my fault. The game itself was great.
The art direction is phenomenal, and the game is animated so well. I touched on the music earlier, but I want to emphasize that it's great too. Each track perfectly fits the vibe of each level's theme. This game is great. I might even say fantastic. Licensed game or not, I'd highly recommend Garfield in TV Land if you're looking for a solid 2D side-scroller to spend a couple hours on.
You know, when I first started playing these games, I really didn't think I'd have a lot of fun. Who knew you didn't need B-movie game to have fun? All this time, all we need to have fun is fun, awesome fun Garfield games. I have had a lot of fun playing through all of these awesome Garfield games. Wait a second. There's one more game. I forgot. The one that my old friend who was dying of unidentified sickness sent me just now. I guess one more won't hurt.
Garfield, it's just called Garfield, was developed by the Code Monkeys and published by Hip Games, and it was released for Windows in the US on May 17th, 2005. This right here is officially the first Garfield 3D video game. This title screen is iconic. There's the title, there's Garfield, and there's a big pile of garbage behind him that he's desperately trying to hide. So iconic. The game starts and it's a blank screen, of course. Had to play around with the settings for 10 minutes and boom, here's the intro cutscene. John's house looks huge compared to most other versions of his house. In the comic strips in Garfield and Friends, it's one story, while in the Garfield show, it's 2 stories. In this game's universe, it looks like his house is 3 stories high. That's insane. John must be making bank in this timeline.
Garfield, where are you? There you are.
John doesn't seem to be very happy. He starts listing all of Garfield's shortcomings and mistakes and tells him that if he does one more bad thing, he's going to kill him.
If one more thing gets eaten, scratched, or shredded, I will put you on a diet.
Same thing. You know what a diet is, right? It's die with a T.
That's a Garfield reference. Only true Garfield fans would get it.
I'm leaving now. I'll be back at 5 o'clock. I've left a list of chores for you to do on the fridge. Remember what I said?
John, he's a cat. Cats can't really do chores. The main voice actor, John Barnard, played Garfield in Lasagna World Tour and Saving Arlene, and he does a decent enough job. Although in this game, he also plays John, and both John and Garfield's voices sound identical, but that's just a minor nitpick. Instead of doing chores, Garfield watches TV while Odie destroys the house.
John's gonna put me on a diet now, and I don't want to go on a diet. Think, Garfield, think.
Garfield realizes that he has to clean the entire house before John gets home. Equipped with a vacuum cleaner, our goal is to find objects to put them in the correct spot to clean up the house.
That's funny. But there's more to the game than that, right?
That's the entire game. You vacuum up objects and put them away in the correct spots.
Huh. Well, it's fun, right?
This game isn't fun.
No!
Yeah, so this is weird. It's a very boring game where you clean a house as Garfield. I don't know how to describe it any differently. It's pretty boring. So boring, in fact, that I decided to stop playing. That's right, I'm not finishing the Garfield game from 2005. Sue me.
So what did I think of this game? It's, got some problems.
I want to know who greenlit this project. Who looked at Garfield Cleaning Simulator and said, yes, I want to publish that. Let's make that game right now. It's tedious, the controls are bad, and the music is pretty repetitious and annoying. There is very little redeemable about this mess of a game. This game was so bad that it's made me reconsider how I feel about all the other games I played today. In retrospect, I may have been cutting these Garfield games too much slack. Sure, Garfield in TV Land was pretty good, but as for all the other games, they're littered with problems. Littered like cat litter. Do you get it? It's a pun. These classic Garfield PC games have glimpses of something better within them, but none of them rise to the occasion. Mad About Cats was a cute educational game, but most of the minigames weren't very fun. A Tale of Two Kitties had a couple fun missions here and there, but most of the time I found the controls irritating and the game ugly to look at. Both Saving Arlene and Lasagna World Tour had decent art direction, but they were such linear experiences and the gameplay didn't keep things fresh enough. Typing Pal was Typing Pal. I liked messing around with Comic Maker, but it felt limited and less robust than the online Flash game that did literally the exact same thing. TV Land was great, but the sound effect design could have used some tweaking. And Garfield was just straight up one of the worst games I've ever played. The Garfield licensed games from the late 90s to early 2000s weren't very good. I can't imagine ever replaying these games. In fact, I don't know if I ever want to think about Garfield ever again.
What are you doing here? I heard that you decided to give Garfield another chance completely on your own and not by having been manipulated by a very specific set of circumstances. So I wanted to be the first to say congratulations. Welcome to the fold. What fold? Did I say fold? I meant cult. The Garfield cult. Welcome aboard. Since when have you been in a cult? Since when have I not? Oh, by the way, how long have you had an elevator? Wait a minute. It was you all along, wasn't it? How did you figure it out? You and that evil haunted doll made me talk about Garfield.
Nice to see you again, Plaidley.
No. Look, man, you really wanted to make Garfield videos this whole time. You just needed someone to help you figure that out. So you're welcome. Did your help include publishing a blog that said that all good video games were going to be raptured so I'd have to play Garfield games? Yeah. Has anyone told you you're really rude? See, you've played all the Garfield games on the computer. Big whoop. There's so many other Garfield games on consoles that you can play. Did you know that Garfield was a playable character in some stupid Nickelodeon Smash Brothers clone? You could play that for a couple hundred episodes. I think there's like some Garfield card games or something you could play Garfield card. Oh yeah, we can go back to recapping the Garfield comic strip weekly or daily. And we could talk about the movies and the shows. Do you know how many episodes of Garfield and Friends there are? 122. And there's 120 episodes of the Garfield show. There is so much for you to talk about now that you've realized that Garfield is the best thing ever. I don't think Garfield's the most amazing thing ever. What? I mean, he's alright. I like reading the comics a little bit. The movies are okay. And some of the games were fine, but it's not my favorite. You're telling me after playing all those Garfield games that I sent you out of the kindness of my heart and my soul and my mind, that even then you don't even know that Garfield's the best ever? Wait. You're the person that was dying in the hospital from unspecified sickness? Oh yeah, I kinda lied about the whole unidentified sickness thing to get you to feel bad, so you play all the Garfield games. sorry about that.
I told you this would not work. It was not enough to take away the games he loved. We will hold him captive. We will take him away from everything he loves. We will regain control.
Hey Marty. Hey man, the Chris Pratt video is almost done, and after you record the next comic recap video, we can start writing the script for the next video. Marty, I need you to change the ending of the Chris Pratt video. What do you mean? It's a great April Fool's video, and the part where you reveal how much you actually love Chris Pratt will be so fun for all the Garfield fans out there. I brought the doll back to the woods and left it there. What? I don't understand. Why would you do that? I couldn't do it anymore. All this Garfield. It just wasn't me. I felt like the doll was using me like a puppet. But we have so many Garfield projects planned. What about the video where you dress as Garfield and yell at people in the park? We need to cancel all future Garfield videos. I'm done. I can't do anymore. So you just left him or you found him? Yeah. In the woods. We won't let him get away with this.